听不见，mute 了。这位的听不见，你是不是 mute 了？
现在呢？
现在可以听见了，那都没听见。
OK， 我知道什么问题了，它这个 connection 有问题，对不起。Hey, my name is David. Wait a minute, I have to mute one side. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. My name is David, and I am the director for this Youth Coding and Innovation Club, and I also teaching a lot of different class, include the Scratch class, Python, Java, and some of this hardware coding class. This one, it's really not the Scratch class. So if you have never learned Scratch before, you probably have to spend a little bit time to warm up. This is more focused on the hardware instead of the Scratch. Of course, if you do not have a lot of experience in Scratch, you do not have to worry too much about that, since we will slow and gradually introduce some of these key concepts. You just want to make sure you will practice with me. So it's kind of like, it's more like a hand-on class. So you do not really expect, say, okay, I sit over here and I listening to the instructor and I get everything. That's almost impossible. Something what we learn from this class, it's really applied to the hardware. So that means you can build the project to really apply for different idea. For example, if you want to create something to change the LED light, it's possible. Or you want to create some kind of alarm. You want to wake you up in the morning, it's possible. So I just give you the basic idea. What's this class? This class is called the Scratch plus hardware, but we are more focused on the hardware programming. Scratch, we will not really teach you the very basic one. You will have the chance to practice Scratch, but focus on the hardware side. Okay, now let's take the turn and ask each student to introduce yourself one by one. Start from Leo. Hey, Leo, would you please tell us what's your name and which grade you are? Okay, you have to unmute.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Well, what do you say again?
You can tell us what's your name and which grade you are.
My name is Leo Wing and I'm second grade.
Oh, great. Okay. So the next one is Ethan.
My name is Ethan and I'm in third grade.
Great. Okay. I'm not quite sure what's your first name, but I know the last name is Hu. Would you please introduce your name? In the first class, if possible, yeah, would you please share it? Okay. I'm sorry, it's cut off. And so what's your first name? I'm sorry.
Who?
Who? Okay. And let's move on. Christina. Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Would you please introduce your name and also what's your grade?
My name is Kristen in 6th grade.
6th grade. Okay, great. And the next one is Alberta.
I'm Alberta, and I'm in 2nd grade.
Okay, so now we know each other. I give you the basic idea. If you have question, put on the chat box. If you want to ask me some extra question besides what we are teaching here, you are welcome to post on the Google Classroom. We will post the course material like the PDF on Google Classroom. We will have the homework assignment, and you will try to finish your homework, and I will give you the grade. Like Ethan and I believe Christina, you take the class before, right? So you know what the whole set is. We use Google Classroom, we use a room here. So we have the interactive, not only in the code, we also have some message exchange in the Google Classroom. So now let's start. Since I have to face to this side, so you probably see me not really straight to you. So that should be fine. Let me share my screen. Okay, let me know if you cannot really see my screen. I assume you can see it. Okay. This class, we do not really try to teach you the Scratch from the beginning, but somehow I understand since we are all just learn something new, so we have to review what we have learned before. The Scratch may be something you learned 1 year or 2 years before, and you forgot most of this. So the first class, we will try to warm up and try to practice a little bit. Anybody can tell me if you have never used Scratch before? Okay, you can put in the chat. Actually, you tell me that what's your experience about the Scratch? Okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, you can put in the chat here and tell me what you have done or which part you like most about the Scratch. Okay, so Leo, okay, you did a little bit with your mom. That's great. And who? Okay, I'm sorry. What's your first name? Who? So I can call you. Yeah, you can put in the chat.
My name is Who.
Yeah, that's last name, right?
That's my first name.
Oh, that's your first name. Oh, really? Okay, Who? Okay, so I just call you Who. Cool. That's a very cool name. Okay. And
Actually, it's
Scratch,
an absolutely terrible name.
Oh, don't say that. Okay.
No, I'm being serious.
You will understand why. Scratch is actually a programming language which is so popular. A lot of people use Scratch as the name referred to the block language. But actually, Scratch is only one kind of block language. It was developed at the MIT, which you can say is Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Technology.
Yes, it has been used by over 40 million different students all around the world and have a lot of shared projects. Currently, we use Scratch 3. So if you have ever seen this interface, you probably see a little bit different if you use Scratch about 3 or 4 years ago, since Scratch 3 is relatively new. I skipped this page is because this is really about what's a different part of the Scratch categories. But we start from here first. So I really like is that I would like to show you what's a Scratch account I use and what I already done. So I show you a little bit. So if you go to the Google, you can type the Scratch MIT. If you only type Scratch, sometimes they don't really give you the right answer. But if you type Scratch MIT, they almost guarantee you. Okay, so you will go to this website, scratch.mit.edu. Okay, since I already logged in, so if I don't really log in yet, for example, I sign out. I just reload it. So this is how it looks like. So if you are not logged in, you probably like this. You can join or you can start or you can sign in. So I sign in from here since I already have the account. So I have my username, I have my password, so I sign in. So from here, you can see I have my stuff. I just give you some brief idea of what I have done. Since this Scratch I teach since 2015, so it's about 5-6 years ago. I already started teach Scratch. So over the time, I built over 124 projects. So it's a lot. I want to really show you a lot of these details. Just you probably get confused by that. But I just give you the basic idea how we start Scratch. The Scratch do not need separate software installation, but you have to create your own account. Okay, since this class is not really teaching Scratch, so you do not really require to create that account. But I strongly encourage you to create one Scratch account if you do not yet. Ask your parents, because sometimes they ask for the permission from the parents. Okay, so this is how the Scratch 3 interface looks like. I can show you one of the simple project so you can see how it's inside. Okay, so see this inside. Okay, so this is really Scratch 3 interface. I'm sorry. I probably make the biggest one. Okay. I try to minimize this so you can see this clearly. So when you log into the Scratch, you will see a couple of different sections. On the left side, this is all about what we call the category. So that means each category is something you would like to program in. For example, you would like to change how it looks. So you click the look. The name is a little bit confusing since there was have some blocks say, some block like the switch custom. This part is okay, but this say is not about looking. Instead, it's try to speak out something virtually, not really speak by the sound. Instead, like type the text message on the screen. And this is sound event. Okay, I will go through this category one by one. So let's go. Okay, quick question. Anybody know what's really the Scratch block refers to? So if I am here, anybody can tell me which part it's about the Scratch block? Oh, if you don't really know, just make some kind of educational guess. It's okay. Okay, so let me point out somewhere. You tell me whether that's block. Is this block? Okay, let me put the chat box back. I'm sorry. Where is my chat box? chat box. Why can I see my chat box? Oh, it's here. Okay. So here. I move over here. So I point over here. Is this a scratch block? Yes or no? So you can put in the chat box, say yes or say no. So now I point to here. Is this, each one of them are block? I think this is not a very tricky question, but somehow it may be confused since you probably know how to program use the Scratch tool here, but you forgot what's the name for that. That's okay. So basically, every one of these are called block. This is the element, or we say the basic block for the Scratch programming. For example, I can separate this. This one is the block. See, I move it in. This is a block. Okay, so it's not a very tricky question, but I know sometimes you may get confused by that. So we have all kind of block, and it's really was break into different category. So just like what I say, you have the motion. So let's see what's a motion, right? It's basically control the sprite. It's pretty much something like this little man here. Actually, it's a bowling. Okay, this bowling can move from one place to another place. That's by motion. The look, just like what I mentioned a little bit. So you can say something, you can change how it looks, right? And sound. And event. Event is a little bit hard, or say challenge to understand. We will mention that repeatedly. And the control. Control is really tell you how to make something wait or repeat, or you want to make the decision based on what you get. And sensing. Sensing is very interesting. Actually, it's some kind of advanced block. I'm not really teaching here, but you just get the basic idea. You can use sensing to interactive with the programming here. You also have the operator. So that's something you can make the basic calculation, or you check the condition. Variable. Variable is kind of challenge concept. If you thinking about variable, it's something like this. If I ask your name, so different students will give me different name, right? I can write down the name here and use the answer from you. So that name, what I get from different student is different. So you're thinking about variable, it's something like, I try to remember somebody's identity, but that identity can be changed, right? Just like you remember my name, but next time you probably remember another people's name. So the name is David when you get my name, but name may be changed to Ethan because Ethan give your name, or change to Leo, right? Or change to who? Okay, so that's how the variable here. Variable means something you want to keep, but that can be changed. My block is a little bit more like what we call the function, but in case you are not really doing anything about function, you have no idea. I will teach you what that really means. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Sorry. This just gives you some basic of what you see from here. If you pay attention, each category of the block have its own color. That make extremely easy to remember. So when you try to put something together, you probably pay attention to the color. You can see this is something put together. It uses different color. So you can, over the time, not instantly, understand what that really means. For example, this repeat 4 is from here to here. So that means inside here, the repeat 4 times. So you can get it from the control. See, repeat. This color is orange color here. So that's how it looks like. Now let's try to quickly overview the motion. Okay, even before that, probably we can do a little bit about the gaming, since this coding is about how to play the boarding game, right? So let's start here. Okay, so the point over here, and you can start the game. I even forgot how to start. Oh, I press the space. Cool. I lock down 6 pins. Okay, so let's try it again. I can move the angle. So I try to lock down some other pins. Hopefully it will. Nice. I locked down 8 pins. So I have 2 left, maybe on this side. Uh-oh, I off track. I already went over here, right? Okay, so this is basically how this programming running looks like. And what's a motion part? You can see this boarding game is rolling, right, on different direction. So when we try to program this, we have to use a motion block. Something like you move how many steps, you turn in certain degree, and you can point to a different direction, and you can point towards some other sprite, and you can go to certain place. This include X and Y. X and Y is basically where you are located on this stage. Okay. And you can also glide. This is a little bit more tricky. I don't really show you here. You just need to understand something like what you play with your body. You can slide from one position to another position. And you can change your X or Y position, and you can change your rotation style. I never used this before, but I assume it will be very fun. Okay, so if you go to here, the motion, you can see different block about the motion block. And you can see from here, okay, this is kind of complex. Let me see if I can show you something a little bit straightforward. Motion. Okay. So yeah, I have a lot of demos, so don't worry too much about that. If you think, okay, motion block demo. You can see inside here. So you can see here, I press this flag so they can start. You can see this Tomcat was moved around, right? So it's because it's control to go to different place, move how many steps, and turning for a certain degree, right? Try it again. Okay, so that's how basically the motion control it. So control where you move and how you change your angle. So now let's take a look at the looks block. The looks block is here. So I will show you from another different example. Sorry. Yeah, looks block. Okay, looks block demo. Demo 1, 2, 3. Let me show you demo 3 probably. It's better. So they have a lot of different block, and I usually break it down into how you speak out and how you change how your looks like. So this one, it's really very straightforward. Don't you have the start? That's a problem. Okay. This is not complete. Let me see. Maybe I have some more complete version of that. Okay, this one. So you can see here, I just click this. Oh, the background was changed, right? So you see the background was changed back and forth. And after it changed, the repeat with something to change this sprite. You can see this tomcat become bigger and bigger. They change the backdrop, and then they start to change. See, it's working, right? And then become bigger. So that's how the looks block used to change this. You can see here, they change the backdrop. So this change the background, how it looks like. And they also change how the sprite, the tomcat, it looks like. So if you click the tomcat and check its costume, you can see they have different costume. See, this one and this one is different, right? So if I click, what that really means? So it looks like the tomcat is working, right? So they are not really changing much of how the tomcat looks like, but they are trying to illustrate how the tomcat was working. So that's how the custom is so powerful. Of course, they also have changed the size here, so you can see. So that's very interesting. If you have any question here, you can raise your hand, or you can, I can understand bad grammar. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So you must be a very good writer. Okay, cool. And sound block. Sound block is something a little bit interesting. Okay, I have to move it over here. It's really used to control how it sounds like. Of course, it's not really something like you play the music. It's more about some format called MIDI. If you never heard the MIDI before, you can play from the scratch and you can get a feeling of the MIDI. MIDI is something called the electric music. I can demonstrate a little bit here. Hopefully you can hear it. Okay, sound block here. Okay, let me see how this is look. Sound block. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, so this sound block has doing nothing but try to play back some sort of sound. So you can control how the pitch, and you can control the volume, of course, and you can control different kind of sound. But something has been changed in the Scratch 3 is that they do not really include any of the instrument. The instrument has been moved to a different place. So I can show you here. So just in case you have interest in to play certain instrument, you can go to the left bottom. They have this called add extension. So now you can see music, right? You can add music. Okay, as long as you click add music, you can see here have music. And this music have different kind of instrument you can choose from. And you can also play the notes with a beat. I believe you definitely know much more music. Something like you play piano or you play saxophone. How about that? You type in the music instrument you have learned a little bit or practice a little bit in the chat box. So we can try to demonstrate how it sounds like. How about that? Okay. Actually, one of my favorites instrument is saxophone. Yeah, my son plays saxophone, so I really like that. Okay, I type in, tell me which instrument you play. Okay, guitar, piano, cool. Okay, how about we write a short program to demonstrate that part? Oh, sorry, this new again. Okay, we choose a sprite, and since most of the students here are boys, so we choose a boy first. I'm sorry, I remember this one girl here. Yeah. Okay, so we choose a sprite. This sounds like a very interesting sprite. Okay, so for this one, I want to start from the flag, right? So I drag over here, and then I try to ask him to play instrument. So I go over here. Okay. You can see the first one is drum. So we don't play drum. Instead, we want to play piano. Let's see, where's piano? Oh, this is only about drum. I'm sorry. Let's try to set the instrument first. Okay, so the first one is the piano. That's perfect. And then we can play some sort of note. Okay. You can tell me which note you want to play, since I'm not really good at music. We can change this 60 to what? Huh? Okay, that's nice. So they show you the keyboard, right?
I think 60 is the C note on there.
C note, right? Yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's move a little bit. Oh, if you can hear, it's not bad. Right? Okay, not really awful, but not bad at all. So now let's duplicate this. And then I move this on. We change that to guitar. Let's see how guitar sounds. Okay. Not bad. Okay. So duplicate. Let's see. What's another one? Okay, saxophone, that's what I am like. Do they have saxophone here? Yeah, you don't really show me. Oh, it's here. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so this is pretty much playing of different instruments. Of course, there's just same notes. So in case you are really interested, you can create different sprite to play different instrument. They can even move, right? So when they are really playing guitar, you can make them play the guitar. So that can be really fun. If you like to try it out, I encourage you to try it out. Since the music is not really my strong point, so I want to really claim that I can do a better job. Okay, so basically the sound block is very interesting. They have a lot of possibility, but just remember the sound block here, it's not really include any of this music instrument. You have to use the extension to add the extension of the music here. So you can see this different block for music instrument. So hopefully you get my idea. Any question, just let me know. Okay, so now let's move on. Wow, this is about data block. Something has been changed over the time. Of course, it's not really something very challenge, but on the other hand, just like what I tell you, this is some sort of concept you have to abstract. What that really means that it may not really relate it to your daily life. You have to think, use your brain. What's really the variable means? So let's give you a quick example. Okay, we have the data block. I should have the data block here. Okay. If not, it's kind of interesting. Control, operate. Okay, so if I do not have that, I definitely can create one for you, but you don't really have to worry about that. Okay, variable is here. So let's see how the variable was created. So we have created a variable named X position. So if you know a little bit about Scratch programming, you know, on this side from the left to right, it's called the X. And on this side, the vertical side, from the top to bottom, it's called Y. In case you want to move this Tomcat, you always have to change its position, right? So you want to change this position and keep track of where the Tomcat is. That's the time you want to use a variable. Just like I want to keep track of your name, but I talked to 5 students here. So each one tell me different name. So Leo, Hu, Alberta, and Ethan. Let me see. I missed one last name, Christina. Okay, so each one tell me your name, and I have to keep track of the name. So that name will be changed. For example, I remember Ethan's name, so I change the name. Okay, I can make a variable here, say name, right? Okay, so I want to use this name, and I can set the name to be Ethan, right? I don't have to type the, okay. But this can be changed. I can also change this to be Christine. I'm sorry, type Christina. Okay, so this will replace the name here. And in the later, I can put over here, and then I can add your name here. I will say Christina, for example. Okay, Christina will speak over here for 2 seconds, right? And if I want to make a duplicate, at the beginning, I want to speak to, for example, who. I like your name, believe me. Okay, so you can speak your name for 2 seconds. And in the end, I can change this name to Alberta. I'm sorry. Why I cannot type? Oh, sorry, that's why. I'm keeping it running. Alberta, okay. So let's try it out. I click here, let's say who, and then they are doing some random thing. In the end, they will play the Alberta. Okay, wait a minute. Who, boom, going to different place, and then they say Alberta, right? Okay, and Alberta again. Actually, I can change this Alberta to different name if I use some sort of list, but that's not really what we are trying to learn here. So the basic idea is that this is a variable, name or X position. This is something I want to use to keep track of something will be changed over the time. So that's very important, because if you never change that, you probably do not really need to use a variable. But if you want to change something and still remember, you definitely have to use the variable. So that's very important. And of course, you can see you have the set. So that means you can set the variable with certain value. Value means something referred to what you want to save. Or you can change that. So that means the first time you already set, for example, I already set the name Leo. Then I want to change the name to who. That's fine. Or you want to hide the variable. Hide the variable, it's not really something about the variable itself. Instead of it's trying to hide from the board here. So you can see, hide the variable X position. See, this was hide and then show again. So that's how the hide means. Of course, you have some other more advanced variable related block, like you can add things, you can delete, you can insert. This is all about list. We are not really talking here. In case you have interest in, we can exchange message in the Google Classroom. So now let's move on. Event block. Event block, it's really very important, but most likely you will not really have to worry too much about its detail. Event, it's really something about what has happened. For example, if you was touched by somebody, you will feel pain, or sometimes you feel happy because you get a hug from your mom, right? So that's some sort of event. Event is really something was happened. It can be
If
detected.
the pointage is 50, then end game.
That's cool. That's an event. That's right. Okay. So we have the event, something like when something has been clicked, or something has been changed, or something has been pressed. So this is a key, right? You press the space key. Or you have something called the broadcast message. Anybody, if you ever use a broadcast message, you can tell me what's really broadcast message means. Or you can type it in the chat if you don't feel comfortable to speak it out. Cool. Do you know what's a broadcast message?
Like, start game.
Start game. Okay. Yeah, actually, that's more like click the flag. Broadcast message, it's really about how we talk to each other. So now we are in the room classroom, right? So when I speak, everybody can hear what I am speak. Is that correct? But when I try to speak only to Christina, how can I do that? I do not want any other student to hear that. I only want to speak to Christina. So I have to make the phone call and dial Christina's phone number, right? Or I want to call Alberta. So I have to dial Alberta's phone number. In the chat box, you can see if I click say, this is a broadcast message. So everybody can see it, right? So if you see the chat box, and now I try to send message only to Leo, say, Leo, would you please read what's a message I sent to you?
You wrote, "Hi, Leo."
Yeah, so I don't think anybody other than you can see this message. Who can you see the message, what I sent to Leo?
You probably also can.
Yeah, that's what's really the message, the different message. So when I send the message to Leo, that's called a private message. But when I send the message to everyone, that's called a broadcast message. Hi, everyone. Okay, so this is the message. Everybody can see it, right? But when I send another message to, hey, please join us. Okay. If you see this message, you can raise your hand. This message is only sent to one student. It's Alberta. So only Alberta sees this message. That's private message. So that's why I want to show you. So that's a difference between the broadcast message and the private message. Private message is one-to-one. So I speak to Leo, that's a private message. And if I speak to everyone, that's a broadcast message. Okay, so hopefully you can get the difference between these two different kind of message. It's kind of important because in Scratch, we only support broadcast message. So that means when we send the message out, everybody can hear it. So that means if we have multiple, for example, they have two sprites here. If they have one more sprite, okay, I have a girl. So if this Tomcat send the message, he will send the broadcast message only. So that means, oh, Kazay, is this Kazay? And what's
It's Casey.
Casey, okay, Casey. And Ballerina, oh, that's a very hard to pronounce his name. Okay, so both of the boy and the girl can receive the same message. So it's always broadcast message. In Scratch, it's impossible to send one-to-one message. So that means Tomcat cannot only send message to the girl because it's impossible, unfortunately. Okay, so let's move on to the next block, control block. It's very interesting, but we use control block all the time. If you pay attention to that, let me show you the control block. Okay, control block. I should have the example here. Okay, control block 1, 2. Show you how this looks like. Something very interesting. If you have ever learned some of this Scratch programming before, you probably still remember how the Tomcat draw the circle or draw a square or something like that. So can we do it here on Scratch 3? Of course we can, but unfortunately something has been changed. So the pen, so that means something you want to draw on the screen, it's not really inside any of this block here. Instead, you have to go to extension. See, add extension when you move to the left bottoms. You click here, you choose a pen. you click again. So you can see the pen was added here. It's very interesting. So let's try to move the Tomcat a little bit. Oh, this is not move, I'm sorry. But you can see, this is only change its costume, right? But this is try to demo you how to use the control block. So the control block have something like repeat, how many times you want to repeat. And they have something like the forever. This is a very good question. What's the forever really means? What's the difference between forever and the repeat? Anybody can tell me? Okay. Oh, Leo, please.
Repeat means like whatever number you put inside, keep going that number. But forever, it keeps going forever unless you put a special block down.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Forever means it's endless, so they never stop. Repeat, it's only repeat so many times. For example, you put 10 here, you only repeat 10 times, right? That's a very good answer. Thank you, Leo. So in general, if your program want to constantly running and you never worry about when to make the stop, you can use forever. Or you want to control it more precisely, how many times you want to repeat, you can use the repeat. So either way, it can control it. Just one will never stop by itself. Another one will stop. Okay. So now we have the if, and we have if else, and repeat until. Okay. So they are slightly different. Anybody can tell me what's if then means? Okay. So let's give you a quick example. We have 5 students here, right? And you all have different names. So your name can be used to check as a condition check here. So if your name is who, we can say if name is who, then play, let's see what's who like to play. Is who play? Oh, okay. I didn't see who tell me he play anything. Okay. So if name is Ethan, we say Ethan like to play guitar. That's cool. And Earth, so another 4 student, I will have to make the guess of what kind of music instrument you like to play. Then we can change and check it again. If name is Leo, Leo like to play piano. That's cool. Okay, so that's how the condition check here. So if you see here, the costume number is 4, then they will switch. Otherwise, they will go to the next costume. So let me show you again. Okay, so if you see the costume, they have 4 different costumes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And they will change the costume to next costume. And the costume's number will be changed as well. So only when this number becomes 4, they will go to the costume 1. So that means this will back to 1. So that's how it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's how it works. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. But in general, this is a very important concept. You need to understand how to use if, how to use repeat, something like this. We have sensing. Sensing block is something more advanced. I have to quickly go over here because this can be very tricky and in case you want to learn more about this, we can talk about that later. But since this class is mostly focused on the hardware, so I'm not really deep into this block too deep. Okay, let me show you if I have the sensing example. Okay, sensing demo 2. Okay. So you can see here, I can run, say, what's your name? Let me type in somebody's name here. How about Christina? Christina. Okay. And then go to random position. Oh, they are not really go to random position yet. Okay, cool. Okay. So they are really try to go through somewhere, and you can set the drag mode to non-draggable. So this is something a little bit more advanced. I don't really talk too much details about this. So you can use this to check whether the touched certain color, or you can check whether something has been pressed. For example, you press space key. You can also check the distance, so you know how far away you're from another sprite. So this is very brief, but hopefully if we have chance, we can show you a couple of more examples. Operation. Oh, for this one, I'd like to show you one of the advanced example. Let me see if this works. Sorry. See inside. Yeah, this is really use a video camera to control it. So you can see here, hey, it's motion. Come on, start. I'm sorry, I didn't run it for a while. Motion. Why it didn't work? I remember it works for me before. Come on. Motion. Okay, let me try another different program. Maybe this one is slightly different. Microphone. Okay, I can use a microphone to control it. See, this has a microphone to control that. You can see how loudly, right? Oh, okay, the name here is Leo. Hey, Leo, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can.
That's nice. Okay, so you can see the loudness here. That's how it was detect the background noise. So you can see the background noise. Hello. Okay, so this pretty loud, and this very quiet, very quiet. See, this is very small number, it's quiet, and this become very loud. So this become loud. So you can really see when you are really loud, they will ask you to quiet down because they are too loud. Okay, so that's how it's controlled here, right? So that's about sensing. Sensing, it's not only about sense from the camera, also sense from the microphone. So they can get a lot of different feedback for you. When you do your programming, it can be very fun. Okay, operators block. This is really something about how you try to make the calculation or make the condition check, or you have some sort of condition you want to combine together. Say, if your name is Hu and Ethan, please raise your hand. Something like that. Or you can join two different, oh, thank you, Hu. And you can join two different strings, right? This is the operator. The operator is very interesting and very tricky. So I'm not talk too much about that here. Let me see, I have operation. Okay, I have operator demo here. So you can see they are really have the combination of different position. See here. So they go to different position and then they make the combination of the X and the Y position. Okay. This is a quick example. And then one of the last, but actually it's not last yet, is MyBlock. I'm sorry. MyBlock, it's really used to define your own. So MyBlock demo here. I call this function, but you can thinking about anything can be preset. Okay, something can be defined. So here, this is MyBlock. It's coming from here. So square, right? I guess most of you know how to calculate the square, right? The square of 3 is what? The square of 5 is what? 5 times 5, 25. Okay, so you get the number here. So let's start. Please enter a number. Anybody give me a hint? What's the number you want to enter here? How about 12? Okay, so the result of the square from the 12 is 144. You can get another one, 3. You get 9, right? So how they implement that? They really get a number from here and then they use this as the input. So something that tell you, okay, I want to get the square of 3. So the 3 is here, the number. And then 3 times 3 send as result. So this result will send back and then you can change the result here, right? So that's very cool. And you can really make a little bit change. Then you can say, I want to get this result. Okay, so let's change it a little bit. For example, 4. See, please enter a number, 6. So 36, see, the get its result. You can change that a little bit. Okay, you can get 11. The square of 11 is 121. So that's how this was defined as your own block. It has something you want to make the calculation or you want to change something. So it's always possible. Okay, so that's a very brief introduction of how the Scratch 3, why we go through this. We do not direct jump to the hardware. We have the hardware here. If you see the box I hold, right? Something like this. So we have the programmable board. You can see the front side and the back side. That's what we were programming. And it's very important. You were not really learning the Scratch. Instead, you were learning how to use the Scratch to program using this little board. Of course, we have some other stuff which make it more interesting. You can see this, right? So this is called the alligator clip. So you can see this. This is pretty much like the alligators. See, looks like alligator, right? Okay, so we will show you how to do the programming over the time. So this course will start from the Scratch 3 introduction, but since next week, we will start to teach you how to do the real hardware programming and how to create certain project, find the idea, eventually, hopefully, you can join the competition. And the competition will be hosted twice this year. One, I believe the first time is at June or end of May, the start. And the second time is September. So you have chance to join both or at least one of the competition. And after you learn how to program this, this is very small, but it's very powerful. I will show you how it can be done next week. So let's wrap up. We have some very cool Scratch 3 project. I hope I have time to demonstrate that, but it's not so important since we will learn how to do the hardware programming. And this class will give you the entry point, and you will build very powerful and also very innovative project using this little board. And let's try to do it again. And if you have any question, you can post on the Google Classroom, and I will try to answer your question. And you will see the homework assignment posted on the Google Classroom. In case you are not joining the Google Classroom yet, please join it. And again, thank you to join this class, and I will see you next week. Thank you, bye. Yeah, if you have any question, you can post on the Google Classroom. That's the place where we collect all of this message. Thank you, bye.